it's Olivia, and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to our channel to check it out. Well, guys, I have an absolutely 100% special video for you guys today. I'm so excited to bring it to you. This was something that was requested by someone in my 500 subscriber giveaway in the chat. If you happen to put yourself in for the drawing for a book giveaway, one of my subscribers, my lovely subscriber, suggested that I should bring guests onto the channel. And I'm thinking, you know what? It is high time we had someone else on here. I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing my face. Let's be real.
Fresh meat.
And so I'm bringing in a lovely guest today to talk about a very niche topic of the book world, but one that has blown up, I would say, considerably ever since Book Talk. Book Talk has blown this topic out of the water. It's blown it up. It's blown into this massive fan base that, I would say has been existing for, decades at this rate, but it's just been gently hanging out underground. No one knows that they exist. They've just been hiding out in the underground. And I'm bringing in an absolute gorgeous and absolutely stellar expert today to talk about one of my new favorite genres of reading, Dramione fanfiction. Please welcome to the stage, Rebecca Anderson. Okay, everyone, she's here. This is my beautiful, beautiful friend, Rebecca. We've been friends since we were 13 years old. We met reading books, quite literally. We met on a drive up to go sledding. I was reading a really embarrassing 13-year-old girl book, which as 13-year-old girls do. And she was reading over my shoulder.
It was so iconic. I had just moved there and I was like, I'm gonna make no friends. And then I just start looking over her shoulder. And I'm like, wait. Hold, before you
don't turn the page.
Don't turn the page.
I hear a voice in my ear and she's like, wait, hold on, don't turn the page just yet. And I'm like, I was like, oh, sure, you want to share? Because I bring it up, and then we read my book for the rest of the drive, which honestly changed our lives and our friendship forever. So Rebecca and I are really great friends. We're also roommates, and she is, I would say, a connoisseur, an expert in all things Dramione. As we love to say in our household, Draco is her husband, but he's my boyfriend. So,
it's true. It's true.
He's my boyfriend. He's one of my baby's fathers, but, this man is her husband. They are wedded. They are bound together for everything.
Oh, my gosh. This man, the chokehold he has on me.
The chokehold.
Is a little concerning sometimes.
Real hot girl.
Yes. And before we jump into it, we want to give a couple of disclaimers. Because we need to talk about, first of all, what the fetch is Dramione fanfiction? What is Dramione fanfiction? And also, what is this niche level of fanfiction that we're going to talk about today? So, Rebecca, would you please give a little description of what is Dramione fanfiction?
What is Dramione fanfiction? I think just to kind of understand, fanfiction in general, it is people who just love the story. An author has created these characters, it's printed, there's facts and everything, but then people just love to write and they're very inspired by these characters or these interesting relationships, so they write their own story. And there's so many different platforms that fan fiction is published on. I read a lot of mine on Archive of Our Own.
Yes.
There's also Wattpad, was one of the very
Wattpad was one of the early ones.
That's where I got started back when I was a wee lassie.
We both, let's be real, started in the really embarrassing, I feel like people, you dive deep onto Instagram and then one day you find yourself reading Jack Frost and Elsa fanfiction, and really
it changes your life.
It changes your life.
Did you guys hear that? I'm scared.
Yeah, and it's interesting, obviously Harry Potter is a really intense world, so there's lots of different fanfics about that, but even Twilight, fanfic of Twilight is 50 Shades of Grey, but then another fanfic of Twilight is also the After series. So there's a lot of or there's fanfics about celebrities. I don't know if you've seen the new movie that's coming out. It's Only You with Anne Hathaway and that one guy.
Oh,
that's a fanfic about Harry Styles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So this older woman falls in love with a boy band character, and who do you think he's based off of?
Harry Styles, of course. The man, the myth, the legend.
I'm Harry Styles. I'm 16. I work in a bakery.
I would say that one of the biggest that came out of the Harry Potter fandom was Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. Quite literally, the pair you never thought you'd see together. And any Harry Potter purist would literally crucify you for even putting these two together.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, J.K. Rowling made a mistake.
You're wrong.
not
She
putting
really
these two
did.
together. She truly did.
Well, and especially because like within all the fanfics you can read, there's so many different pairings. Like I've seen like Harry Potter and like Pansy together, and I've seen like
Remus and Lupin.
Like,
they're in, no wait, Lupin. It's Lupin and Sirius Black.
That's a
They're always
huge
together.
one.
Those two are together in every single
know.
fic I see.
I know, because that's one that I haven't been super in depth with, but like the Marauders, that's a whole fanfic
Yes.
era on its own. Like it's in its own right. There's so many. I think all of us young dudes, that's one that like I've had a friend read.
Oh my gosh,
and apparently
I heard that one's
it's
so
like
good.
devastating, but it like goes through. It's essentially like Harry Potter like length novel, but like
The
Harry,
Marauders.
James, like
like
Peter, Lily, like
Sirius Black, the whole bit.
oh my gosh, yeah. So like if you think it will be there. Someone has already written something about
Someone's
it,
come
which
with
is
the idea. If you're
amazing.
like, you know what would be great is if in Twilight they were something else. Someone's written it. Like if in Sarah J. Maas, for instance, if you were like,
What
I wonder
did
what
Lorcan-
did Lorcan do? Trust me, there's fics on what Lorcan did, and trust me, some of them are very well written. But I will also say, not all fan fictions are created equal. Okay?
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's like some etiquette when it comes to like fan fiction.
Yes.
And you have to remember, these people did not pay for a publisher. They did not. This is purely like their love child. They just like were like, I love this so much. They have a gift, a talent for writing, or they just have a fun, quirky idea, and they put it out there. So like, you have to remember when you read this, sometimes it's not going to be the best, or you're going to have critiques. Like, it's just part of writing. So you just have to be gentle because they just put it out in the world, and so you can't just like crucify it but like, enjoy it, know what's good, learn which authors you love. There's some funny names too, because like
Right,
you just
because everyone's anonymous.
Yeah.
Everyone's anonymous online, so everyone's got crazy names, like based on like just whatever they wanted to be, whatever wanted to be. One of the most famous fan fictions that most people know, probably super famous, obviously, is by Miss Senli Yu, Manacled. It's like a household name at this point. And like that Manacled has been a fan fiction for what? Like over a decade. Like over
Probably,
a decade, even longer than that.
We'll
maybe.
fact check, but
We'll fact check, but I'm pretty sure it's over a decade at this point.
No.
But today we are here to talk about our love of mostly Draco Malfoy, but also Hermione as well.
Oh my
That's totally barbaric.
gosh.
But like our love of Draco Malfoy, and recommend some Hermione fan fictions to get you guys into the fan base, because to be so for real, she got me in on it. I was like living my life being normal, and then and then she was like, "You ever read Hermione fan fiction?" And I was like, I haven't given it a go. I'm telling you, I don't know what is in Hermione fan fiction. I swear it's crack. It's meth, it's crack, it's quite literally the most addictive substance ever, because literally, and they've said it a million times, once you start reading Hermione fan fiction, you will never stop.
There was a period, like probably this last
Literally.
winter, where I didn't read a single printed book.
No, you only were reading fan
only
fiction.
read like one after another after another.
Nope.
Like
Again! Again!
what Liv was saying about like the secret sauce of Dramione, I don't know what it is, but I cannot get enough. I think it's like the enemies to
Yes.
lovers. There's this like,
Always.
they're both like intellectually strong, smart people, but everyone writes them so differently. Like, we'll talk about different fanfiction,
Yes.
kind of how the universe is spread out, because
Totally.
you think you've seen it all, and then it's like,
And then it
here's
completely
one more,
changes on
and
you.
one more, and you're like,
Totally.
oh, what did it? I think it's like the intellect.
The intellect.
But then also like
Absolutely.
the actual polar opposites. Like Draco Malfoy is like, they're both single children. They're both like loved by their parents, but like Draco is like pure blood supremacy. Like, this is what you have to be. This is, you have to be the smartest. You have to be the best. And then in comes like Hermione Granger.
Hermione Granger.
Again!
Hermione Granger, and she's muggle born, she's so gifted, she's so smart, she's
Yes.
on the top of it, and so it's like they're like almost like perfect foils for each other. And so like it's so fun because there's like so much animosity. They're on the opposite side. Like, you think that they could easily switched
Yes.
because they're so similar, but then like the tension between them, like
good.
it's almost like, I personally, some people have different feelings. I love the Katara and the Zuko, like that
Oh,
pairing,
yeah.
where you're just like,
Hello, Zuko here.
it's funny. I think what's so quirky about this is you can fall in love with the same characters over and over in a bajillion different ways. Like,
Yes.
there's things that I'm like, my Draco Malfoy, he's
Yes.
always left-handed. He always
Always.
wears a signet ring, and like,
He's at least what, 6'4"?
He's at least 6'4".
He's at least 6'4".
Oh my gosh.
Like big too, like big. Like
I'm not talking like puny Tom Felton. I'm talking like
Love Tom Felton, but
love him, but also
not- not my Malfoy.
not my Draco. Like,
My father will hear about this.
like my Draco is quite literally a god. Like he's a 6'4" like swimmer's bodied Adonis with left-handed,
I'm
and he
so
always
red right
always
now.
wears a ring. Rings on men are hot, guys. Let's all talk about it. Let's all say it together. Rings on men are hot.
Oh,
And
I would cool down.
I would say that, like, and to like sum up what you were getting at, I would say that like it's almost like she humbles him, he challenges her.
Ooh, but like he rises, like
He'll rise to the occasion,
He
though.
pushes her. Like,
Yes,
they
he
push
does.
each other. Like
They
love
do push
Ron,
each other's butt. Oh no, we don't. Okay,
but we don't. But
We
he
don't.
just doesn't.
he's not gonna push her.
He doesn't match her energy.
No,
like,
the fire. She cares so much.
and I love Ron. I love Ron for who he was. But I just don't think that like what they need from each other, the like push, the drive,
Yeah, no.
the ambition, like.
No.
And granted, a lot of fanfics like Ron bash. Like there's
Which,
literally tags
honestly,
where it's like
Ron bashing, and I'm honestly like, I'm here for those ones. I'm here for the Ron bashing fanfics.
Wait, spiders? Why couldn't we follow the butterflies?
And also, that's another thing on the fanfiction base, guys, is that you might not know, is they have tags for specific things. So it'll say, like, tag for, like, enemies to lovers, for spice, if you want spice, for Ron bashing, for, like, specific
like different
tropes.
pairings at the top that I don't know if you want to guide, but it will say like who the pairings are,
Yeah.
what trigger
Yes.
warnings to watch out, because some of them are pretty dark.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yeah, some get
prepare
real
with
dark.
caution. They're all like, if you ever read anything with spice, they will always say like, hey, just so you know, this has like mature content.
You have to, like, click the box and be like, I want to proceed. Proceed with mature content. I'm always like, woo, let's go.
Ride like the wind, bullseye! Ooh-ah!
But enough chitty chatting. We're gonna get into some of our favorite Dramionie fan fictions that you can find online, either on AO3 or Wattpad. But pretty much, I think all of mine are on AO3. Are yours all on AO3?
And most of them are on AO3
or on Spotify for an
Yeah,
audio.
the audio.
So yeah, we will be recommending those to you right now. Okay, so first one we're gonna start with is one that Becca got me into in the first, like, this was like her, like, essentially entry back in. It was my gateway drug into Dramionie fanfiction, which is Between Certifiable and Bliss by Hey Jude 19. And as we both just said, like, honestly 2 seconds ago when the camera was cut, we love Hey Jude.
It's by
Hey Jude, I love Hey Jude. Hey Jude is great. Like, seriously, like, if you're gonna read a fan fiction by someone, like, you can trust Hey Jude on AO3. Seriously incredible. Like, great writing, really interesting story. So, Between Certifiable and Bliss is a pre-war, and by war we mean the Battle of Hogwarts, if you remember from the 7th movie and or 7th book, sorry. So, pre-war and post-war. So essentially it's about Draco Malfoy. He's miserable, he's hating school, he's hating his life. It's just like a lot of pressure.
It's like right in the middle of like all the pressure he's
Yeah.
feeling from Voldemort, all the pressure of like joining the Death Eaters and all that stuff.
It's like,
he's not in a good time.
No, he's having a really bad time.
I don't want your help. Don't you understand?
And he just, like, he can't sleep. And so also, okay, Theo Knotts and Blaise Zabini.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, 2 characters from Harry Potter, both adorable. Canonly, they're not together, but in this universe, they're together. They're in a cute little relationship together. I'm obsessed with them. Theo and Blaise are together. Draco catches them, but they're not really worried about it. They're just like, oh, dude, like, don't tell anyone. We're not, like, telling anyone yet. Anyway, so Theo decides to give, essentially, like, Theo's discovered this ability that he has to essentially, like, implant, like, essentially create scenarios or create fake dreams, like, in people's heads, or, like, essentially, like, impress a memory or a feeling in someone. So he tells Draco, he's like, I will, like, impress the feeling of, like, calm and peace in your life and, like, happiness to, like, help you. And Draco's like, okay, fine. Like, it's not actually gonna work. And the thing that Draco thinks about is Hermione. He thinks about Hermione. It's this, like, beautiful moment. He's, like, thinking about her.
Aren't they in like a kitchen and
Yes,
like
and he's
their
like,
little family?
they're cooking or something in the kitchen, and it's like this, like, little moment that they have. And he's, like, never thought about her that way. And so when he wakes up from the dream, he's like, he's really mad at Theo because he's like, dude, what the heck? Like, why did you give me that dream about Hermione Granger? And Theo's like, I don't make the dreams. I just impress, like, the feeling. like of happiness or peace or whatever. And he's like, it's just your dream. Like, I didn't create the moment. Anyway, so basically this one moment happens and then Draco Malfoy quite literally cannot stop thinking about her. Like, for the rest of the war, through the rest of 6th year and through the war and through all of the Voldemort and the post-war, he cannot stop thinking about Hermione Granger. He just thinks about her constantly and, like, tries to find moments where he can, like, be with her. And so essentially this fanfic is like, of him, like, essentially, like, secretly pining after her. And eventually, like, things start to unravel and things start to come together.
There's a lot of, like, government conspiracy
Yes.
too. Like, there's a lot of, like, really fun subplots where you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, it's very true to, like, the story of Harry Potter up until, like, after the war, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice. So it's a good one to start into because you're
Yes.
not like, oh my gosh, like, zombies. Like,
Right,
there are
totally.
some ones that you're kind of
There's
like...
some crazy ones.
So it's a good one to kind of start into because it's
Yes.
a great story.
It's a great story, but I will say it's long. It is long. It is long, and you're, like, investing time. Like, you're investing.
Yeah.
But I will say it's well written. It's really fun. There's, like, a little bit of spice here and there.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy, though.
Yeah.
It was, like, my gateway drug, though. I was like, I'm obsessed with these two. I have to have them. I'm obsessed with them, and I'm obsessed with Draco. He's so cute. So I definitely recommend Between Certifiable and Bliss by Hey Jude 19. An incredible fan fiction to start.
So my first pick it's called Tango. It's by Mr. Benzenine 89. And it's a on the shorter side.
Love, which sometimes you just need a little quick thing. A little quick, if you will.
It's not a one shot, but it's like a fairly short one. I read it over Christmas break. And it is, it's so good. I always divide up my, like, Dramionie by, like, where it is and what happens. But it's essentially, like, post-war. Draco Malfoy is engaged to, what's her name? Astoria
Yes.
Greengrass. And Hermione and Ginny are friends. Like, she and Ron are broken up, but it's, like, right after. And I think it's Hermione wants to do a dance class. Or
Yes.
Ginny wants to do a dance class. And they end up in this tango dance class together. So you have, like, Draco and Astoria are engaged, but then, like, Ginny and Hermione are, like there, and you're just like, they're horrible dancers. Like, they are so bad. Like, their dancing is so bad that the instructor just, like, cries. He's like, I have never seen someone so horrible. And, like, it's hilarious. But then they end up having to do a private class together. And the teacher's like, we're going to do trust exercises, and we're going to practice over and over and over again. And Draco's like, well, you're too controlling. And she's like, well, you can't lead. And it's, like, all this, like, cute banter.
Well, I guess we don't have a language barrier.
And I will say,
Enemies
it's
to
like,
lovers.
I love it so much because I wouldn't even say enemies to lovers. It's like forced proximity
Oh, I love.
to friendship to relationship. And it's brilliant because there's no cheating. I really, really, really appreciate that. Because, like, obviously, like, when you're dating or, like, other things, you're kind of like, some of them I'm like, I can get behind this. But I'm
Right,
like,
but a lot of times I can't.
I know, I'm just like, oh, why do you have to do that like that? But there's no cheating in
Mm-hmm.
this one, so I really love that. But it's like this gradual, like, you just hate them. They hate each other so much, but then they're like, oh, like, I can be vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet. And it's just so fun because then you throw in this, like, really interesting dynamic of, like, Draco's parents. And that's always a fun element to kind of see, like, is Narcissus supportive? Is, like, Lucius still alive? Like, there's, like, so many things where you're just kind of like, it's so fun. But this one, I love the characters. The writing is really fun. There's a little bit of spice towards the end. You get to appreciate it. I feel like it's so fun to talk about fanfics because you just know who's going to end up together. So you kind of just be like, well, like, buckle
You're like,
down.
let's see what's going on.
It's
Literally.
like the journey getting there is almost more enjoyable because you know, you can, like, trust that
Yes.
it's going to happen the way you want it to. Maybe
Totally.
it's the control freak in me. But it's an excellent one. Good read. Super easy. Nothing too dark or crazy, but it does kind of, like, tap into, like,
Sure.
the slightly, like, he's healing and growing.
Angst.
Trauma. Just a little bit.
Trauma.
Just a little bit.
And as we've
So
discussed on this channel, we all know trauma makes men hotter. Okay, moving on to my second pick is by, let's be real, critically acclaimed author at this point, Sen Lee Yu. We have All You Want. Now, Sen Lee Yu did write Manacled, and Manacled obviously is extremely famous. It's actually going to be off of AO3 next year. It's going to be published into, like, an actual book. And one of my favorite fan fictions that she's written is All You Want. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. To be honest, it's Smut City, okay? Like, this one, you're going in for a good spicy time, okay? And you're getting one of my favorite versions of Draco, which is just, like, really kind of, like, possessive. Slightly toxic, but I love that. Slightly toxic, but not really, because he's just being kind. He's just being possessive because he's like, it's in his nature. It's an internal thing. Like, I feel like he can't help it.
Why?
Because everyone, it's an Omegaverse fanfiction. Which...
No, I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.
As I talked about many times on this channel after Bride came out, because Bride was like a small little dip into like the Omegaverse. So if you're not familiar with Omegaverse, you're gonna need to do your own research.
I was like, I started a long time ago on Wattpad.
I was like, you gotta go back. I was like, gotta go do your own research. Essentially, though, it's kind of similar to Sarah J. Maas's like fated mates almost. Mm-hmm. Like there are alphas and omegas in a society. They are drawn to one another. And
there's like a bonding process.
There's
a
you have to be
accepted
thing.
By your mate.
Yes, it's like very much like that. It's very like wolfish. I don't know.
Well, and I would say another layer is you like choose your mate. So
yes.
so it's really interesting because you can have like a lot of alphas, but then the omega chooses, and so it's like, do I choose? Who do I choose?
Right.
My enemy,
Draco. So in this one, basically, Hermione finds out that she's an omega. She doesn't realize it. Like in the very beginning.
Like 6th year.
Oh yeah, this is in Hogwarts. So they're
Hogwarts.
Literally, it's like 6th or 7th year of Hogwarts. Hermione and Draco are like in school together. Draco's an alpha, but he like stays away from her or whatever. But Hermione's an omega, and she doesn't really like Hermione is a
Hermione.
Oh, not again. I was like, what?
It's too easy.
It's too easy. Hermione's an omega, but she like essentially is like, I'm not going to explain the whole process of like how they get together. Essentially, she goes through a process that I'm not going to explain again because you have to go do your own research. But basically,
According to my research,
she gets into a predicament where she needs help. No one's helping her, but they're doing it on purpose. But essentially, Draco finds her in a predicament. And he's like, well, I'm going to help her because no one else is here to help her. Essentially, they become intertwined, if you will. Because of said predicament that I'm not going to explain. Go do your own research.
Rudy, with you saying this, it's really concerning.
I know. Sounds bad.
The writing is so good.
The writing is so good.
Even if you just read this, you'll understand Omegaverse so well. Like
yes, and I'll be honest, it's everything. Like, I eat it up with a fork and knife. I love Omegaverse.
Can we show them your text?
Wait, which one?
Text. Can you just like do screenshots of the text?
Yes, I'll pull it up. I'll send it.
Receipts, timelines.
Wait, receipts, timelines, text messages, everything.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, in everything.
Literally.
She's obsessed with this one in the best, most toxic way possible.
I will send all of my receipts from this one because when I finish this one, I was losing my literal mind. Like, I was foaming at the mouth, shaking in my bed. It's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, I am so unwell. I need Draco Malfoy so bad. Like, I want him. Like, he is like,
fine.
He's daddy in this one. Like, he's alpha daddy.
He is
like,
in so much control.
So
like,
much control.
It's like,
it's honestly sick.
It's so sexy.
It's sexy and it's sick, but I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So really, like, if you're going for a good time, not a long time,
That.
read all you want. All you want is a drug, but I love it, and I can't not recommend it to you guys. So please go check that one out.
So if you want a good time and a short time, Liv's Rec perfect. Mine is a long time and a sad time.
Really long and sad.
It's called A Measure of a Man by In a Day's 22, and it is by far one of the longest.
Yeah.
It is. My favorite is some creators have been like, this fanfic is like 158,000 words.
10,000 years will...
Which is the equivalent of 3 Harry Potter
Yeah, I was
books.
like, didn't you tell when you told me you read this one, you said it was the equivalent of 3 Harry Potter books.
And it's like the thick ones. It's like
It's
Order
massive.
of a Phoenix, like through the set. It's a huge book. But it is so well written. It is so interesting because it essentially starts out with, in this universe, Hermione is a healer. She like is a mind healer. So she's working at the hospital, and one of the Malfoys comes to her and says, "I need help. Like, my mind is sick." And it is so crazy because she's like, "Okay, I'll be your nurse." And so she goes and she lives with Draco, and Narcissa, sexy. And Draco's son Scorpio. And you find, and it's so interesting because they're living together, and you just see this like poor traumatized little boy Scorpio. Oh, he's such a sexy dad in this one.
He's sexy. He's actually, see, in mine he was like daddy. This one he's in father.
Yeah, he is father.
He's father.
He is father. But then also you have this really fun like plot where Fenris Greyback is still alive. He is still alive, and he is like starving for Hermione Granger's blood. Like literally
So
there's
scary.
this whole other like subplot where like obviously like the healing and like the trauma and the bonding and stuff, but then you have like Hermione is literally being chased by this werewolf who is like going to get her, and Draco
So
is
scary.
like, absolutely not
That's
on
hot.
my watch.
That's hot.
So it is long, it is grueling, but it is beautiful. It is beautiful in the sex, it is beautiful in the words, it is beautiful in the character growth, but it's so slow. But if you are willing to put in the work, you will have no regrets. You will have no regrets. In a Day's 22 really put it all out on the line, and
Mwah.
gorgeous.
So good.
Gorgeous.
Okay, my third recommendation for you guys today happens to also be by Suddenly You. We just looked it up and I'm like, no way it's by Suddenly You too. Of course it is, because guess what? She writes the best fan fictions. And she wrote Love and Other Misfortunes, which is a really angsty, like kind of angsty, sad, and sexy fan fiction. It's not very long. It's not like too long. It's like a decent amount, but it's like not
Yeah,
that
I would say
long.
it's definitely shorter.
It's like it's on the shorter side of fan fiction. Essentially, okay, we're gonna get into a Harry Potter term that I actually didn't know until today. Becca, do you mind explaining what a vila is? Because I had no idea this was even a thing in the Harry Potter world until today.
So Vila is canon. Like her, like
In J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter
there's a Vila.
canon.
It's a type of magical creature. It's like part human, part creature. Where normally they're just like super beautiful people. Like they have a magic ability. Like Fleur is one of the most classically known. She's part Vila, and so she has like obviously you have like the beautiful singing and the
Right.
dancing, and just is like really people are like magical, like very alluring. But then they also have like a hidden type of magic. One of the most known things about their Vila is actually kind of similar to
Harpies?
harpies, yeah.
Harpies.
So they like when they're angry or mad, they turn almost into birds. They have like these beautiful wings, and they
like
have
sprout out of their
claws,
back
they're
and
like
claws,
birds.
like bird
Yeah,
people.
Yeah. And so that is like J.K. Rowling did write that. There is
Yes.
like actual stuff, but other than that, she didn't write a ton. And so that's when people like Cindy Yu like took it and said, you know what? We're gonna make them have mates. We're gonna make it like a whole lore. We're gonna make it like so in depth, but also make it kind of secret, because it is like almost like a sacred thing where you have like a mate as a Vila, and you're like trying to figure out who it is.
It's
and, like,
really
your
special.
world revolves around them.
It's almost like the what's the name of that? It's that Japanese thing where it's like Hanake.
the red.
The blooming roses in your chest.
Oh, they cough up flowers.
So essentially, okay, so to give you guys kind of, it almost is like in this world, it's almost like Hanake disease, which if you don't know what that is, essentially like in Japanese, like comic books or in like some of their storylines, characters develop Hanake disease, which essentially like it's dying of a broken heart for pining for someone. So essentially what happens is like you pine after someone for so long, but they don't know that you're in love with them. And essentially like roses and like flowers, depending on whatever flower like represents, some people have like specific ones representing their like personality, grow inside of your chest until you're like coughing up flowers and you die of like strangulation, essentially like from the flowers inside of you. It's like, it's a really cool concept. Look it up online. And like, so it's almost like that for the Vila, essentially, except not totally. So essentially, Draco Malfoy is like a hidden Vila in this world, but he like, and his mate is Hermione Granger, and he knows it's her, but he doesn't want to, like, he feels so bad, he doesn't want to guilt her into anything, so he is literally slowly dying.
Because he would rather
because he would rather die than force her into something that she doesn't want to be a part of.
That's hot.
And so, like, he's actually, like, kind of mean to her at work, and he, like, really tries to, like, grind her gears and stuff, and, like, she's just, like, a workaholic. This is a post-war, like, she's a workaholic trying to work in, like, what is again the
magical creature? She's, like, lobbying
Department of
for,
Defense
like,
for magical creatures.
For, like, she's, like, activism for werewolves and
Yes.
activism, which
For
is
other
funny
creatures.
because he is a magical
Yes,
creature.
and he needs someone to defend him. But anyway, so it's essentially like a unrequited love. Like he like loves her so bad, and he like would rather die. He'd literally rather die than like mate her or like become mates with her and like force her into something that she doesn't like want to be a part of. It's just very cute. It's really cute. It's sad and also really like angsty, but also really sexy. It's like one of my favorite fan fictions ever. I'm obsessed with it. Also, if you have not heard of Hanake disease, please look it up. It's gruesome, but also really beautiful.
Beautifully sad.
Beautifully sad. Very much.
Beautifully sad. Okay, well,
Last one.
my last one is, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing, guys. When I say that, like, Dramione has consumed my life within the past year, I'm not even lying. I literally got into book binding so that I could have a physical copy of Bring Him to His Knees.
She bound this book herself, guys. Like, she got into bookbinding literally to bind this book because it's only an audiobook.
It's so it was written, but then it's under lock and key. So the way I listened to this book was through an audiobook, which I'm so grateful for. It's by Music, and so grateful for Stephanie Michelle. She made this typeset. It's quite a process, but someone will go and download all of the words, and then they put it into this print, and then I printed it on my printer. It's a lot of printing. A lot of wasted paper, a lot of tears because it is so difficult. But then I sewed it together, I bound it. But when I say this is probably one of my favorite, I'm not lying. But I think I personally love Bring Him to His Knees because it has this like criminal element to it. I love Criminal Minds. I love a mystery. I love like
murderers are sexy. We know this.
Murders are sexy. But this one is so interesting because the pairings are really quirky, but I love them, and like the friendships are really fun. So essentially, like Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy, they worked together on the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. They became friends. They've like gone through the whole process together. It's great. And obviously, like Draco and Pansy Parkins, they dated in I almost said high school.
Hogwarts. It is high school.
And then after they broke up, Pansy and Harry started dating, and they ended up getting married. So everyone's like, what? Like, it's crazy.
Yes.
But it's so good. And so, like, Pansy and Hermione are friends, and Harry and Hermione are friends. And so, like, Harry, like, they're all just, like, friends together. And then Hermione has been pining after Draco for years. Drake has been pining after Hermione for years. But they're, like, both too, like, they're like, we can't ruin this friendship. In this one, like, Hermione is definitely a little more, like low-key. She's not as strong-willed. But it's still, like, such a good book because Draco is, like, he's literally a law enforcement. Right during this book is they're trying to find this like this murder mystery. Like there's a serial killer who's been killing all these different women, and so essentially like Hermione and Draco, they go undercover at a sex kink club to find the killer because there's like
that is disgusting. Give it to me now.
Keeps drawing back to the sex club.
Sorry, that is so hot. I'm like,
and so like they're essentially like forced into this.
They're
like,
undercover.
They're undercover. They're in a relationship, and she's like, "No, I can be down." And he's like, "You're not down." And
she's like, "Oh, I can be down."
And then she's like, "Watch me," and they like make out, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
And he's like, "It's my dream."
Oh my gosh, yeah. And this one, I love this Draco so much because Liv was saying like he's giant, like he has all these tattoos.
He's big.
He's tall. She's minuscule. Like it's. Broomstick thighs, that's all it. Like,
yeah,
if you
all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Broomstick thighs.
Broomstick thighs.
We're sorry. The number you reached has been disconnected.
Listen to it online.
It's on Spotify, right?
You can Spotify.
Yes,
yeah.
you can listen to it on Spotify, or like that's honestly the only other way that you.
I think you can request it from the author specifically, but you gotta. I haven't figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
I haven't figured.
So if
honestly,
someone knows,
tell me.
Yeah, if someone knows how to get that from the author, great. But if not, like. She's got a copy, so you can just message her. Just kidding, no.
I'm like, let me ship it to you.
Let me ship you my one copy of this book. I thought we were going to listen to it on audiobook, but seriously, it'll change your life. Yeah.
So good. So good, so good, so good.
Well, that is all we have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Living Literature YouTube channel. Becca, thank you so much for being our Draco Malfoy expert and our Harry Potter expert for today, and for bringing us all the great fan fictions and knowing way more about things than I do.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so fun having you on the channel. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. I hope that you had fun today. I was gonna say where can they find you, but like I guess
I was like, you can DM me.
Find her on Instagram. Yeah,
I will give you all the recs. I literally have so many.
So many.
We didn't even talk about like.
We didn't even talk about Manacled or
Manacled, the auction, zombie,
Love in the Zombie Apocalypse, whatever. Like
there's
so many.
Like I could stop. I would just like cry and tell you all of them. But just DM me.
I'll link her Instagram like right here, but I'll also link it like down in the description. So if you want to message her on Instagram, just send her a quick DM for more Dramione fanfic recs. She's got all of them. She's got the best stuff. But regardless, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.